On April 26, 2003, a 27-year-old mechanical engineer named Aron Ralston told no one where he was going. He drove to Utah's Blue John Canyon carrying a cheap multi-tool, no cell phone, and a single water bottle. He was an experienced climber. He'd summited 14,000-foot peaks solo. He understood risk assessment. But what happened next violated every survival protocol he'd ever learned. At 2:45 p.m., Ralston descends into a 3-foot-wide slot canyon. The chockstone shifts, 800 pounds of sandstone. His right hand pins instantly between granite and boulder. The compression is total, immediate. He pulls for 1 hour straight. The rock doesn't move. He rigs a pulley system using climbing rope and carabiners. The boulder shifts 1/16 of an inch. Then nothing. By day 2, he'd consumed his last water. His urine turned dark amber, then brown. He recorded video messages to his family on a camcorder. His speech patterns slowed. Cognitive function declined. Without water, renal function enters progressive impairment phase within 72 hours. The math was simple. He began carving his name, an anticipated operational endpoint, into the canyon wall. On day 5, his arm tissue showed extensive compromise. The limb below the elbow showed absent peripheral perfusion indicators. Then he realizes something. The boulder has already done the hard part. It has crushed the radius and all the bones cleanly. He doesn't need to saw through bone. He needs to break it. He applies torque against the rock. Both forearm bones separate under applied leverage. Then he uses the dull blade on his multi-tool to complete the separation of the fully compromised limb segment over the course of 1 hour. Here's the anomaly. He should have experienced rapid circulatory collapse in minutes. But the prolonged compression had already clotted the brachial artery. His body had begun the shutdown process days earlier. He applies a tourniquet using a tube from his water system. Then he rappels 65 feet down the canyon wall, one-handed. He hikes 7 miles through the desert. At 3 p.m., he encounters a family from the Netherlands. They call for helicopter evacuation. He's lost 40 pounds and 25% of his circulatory volume. Doctors later stated he had less than 24 hours if he'd remained pinned. Ralston later stated he didn't feel heroic. He felt like he'd failed a simple engineering problem. The canyon is still accessible. The boulder is still there. The detached limb segment was subsequently recovered and cremated. He returned to climbing 6 months later. Some call it determination. Others call it biological autopilot. But the documented physiology suggests something else. His body had already begun dying in a controlled sequence, preserving just enough neurological function for one final calculated act. Human survival mechanism doesn't care about courage. It cares about equations. Ralston violated Rule 1 of backcountry protocol. He told no one his location. Search and rescue didn't even know he was missing. His parents filed a report on day 3. By then, statistical survival probability had dropped below 12%. When you head into the backcountry solo, would you file a formal trip plan with coordinates and expected return time, or follow the 73% who skip it?